Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If you're willing to riot and stand on top of each other's face and do whatever the hell you want to do, you're allowed to do that because you're considered a peaceful protester. So we decided to call all our rallies peaceful protests. Okay?
He's the biggest troll in the world. It's what the football game should be. NFL starts tomorrow night. So it should be. It should just be a peaceful protest. Because you know they're going to protest. So if you're there to watch it, might as well be peaceful. Enjoy it. Absolutely. Stop me. I'm going in. They're protesting. They're protesting. Trump, by the way, for those of you who aren't keeping score, jokes aside, he was nominated today by a crazy far-right wing, populist, progressive Norwegian for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I posted that, and people were like, oh, anybody can. Well, said it's not like Obama, who got the Nobel Peace Prize for, the thing that he didn't even know why he got it. But hey, congratulations. But we talk about this. Words and actions. Words and actions. You can look at Trump and the stuff that he's wanted to do. Now, the wall thing has been a battle. But a lot of other stuff. He's going to be bringing our troops home. I'm a huge fan of that. What about what he said about the military? I want proof. I want real proof. Not third party. Somebody said to me yesterday, they have anonymous sources. They stay anonymous. I said, well, here's the thing with anonymous sources. We've stopped having anonymous sources, and we now have hearsay. Hearsay is not the same. I have sources, and you know what? I built a relationship, and they fed me stuff I never went with. Why? Because I want to see if it's true or not. Are you really giving me stuff that's real? I'm curious. That's how you build a source. And you have a source that is singular. You have a source here, a source there. You don't have anybody who comes to you and says, I'm a source of something. Actions, to me, have always mattered. I look and I say, what's the actions that Trump has done? What are they? Have there been mistakes? By the way, every president has made mistakes. Even if they've been the kindest, most politically correct, speaking, amazing, we talk about Trump. Look at all the stuff that Trump has done and how evil he is and how violent he is in his words and rhetoric. Then go look Obama. Go look at the wars that he got us into. Go look at that. Nobody ever says anything. Who was a bigger deporter in chief? Not Trump. Trump's trying to stop them before they get here. Obama threw them out left, right, and center. We don't want to talk about that, though. These are all things that we just ignore. I'm not saying Trump deserves a second 4 years. I'm not saying he doesn't. That's going to be up to the voter. You, me, everybody else. But we're so hyper-focused on stuff that doesn't matter. We're so living in a world at this moment in time that is reality television. And it's easy to see why there's a populist growth in politics, not just here, but globally. Because that's what we're drawn to even on television. This populist kind of thing. It's playing to the masses. Doesn't matter if it's real or not. It's playing to the masses. Saying the things that just, and it's frustrating. There are things that matter. There are absolutely things that matter right now that we should be talking about. How's that stimulus going?
All Americans know this unprecedented crisis is not through with us yet. And so they expect that Congress isn't through helping yet either.
Are they? I don't know. I don't know if he is or isn't old Mitch there. Because the Democrats are trying to play hardball. The Republicans are playing some hardball. Everybody's fighting left, right, and center. Some people out there are like, you know what? We need to get back out there and start working. I'm one of those people where we need to start taking off the fear, understanding so we're taking off the hat of fear. We're putting on the calculated risk. We know who this affects the most, who's most vulnerable, If mass works, then we should be out there living our lives, doing the best that we possibly can under the circumstances, because we're not going to be able to have a full office at this point in time for several reasons. Some reasons are your company's cut back. The revenue's too low. At this point in time, you're at the laying off point. So even if you wanted to bring everybody back, even if they said today, hey, we found a cure, it doesn't matter because you don't have that business you had pre-coronavirus. I don't want political agenda. I want action. I don't need words. I need action.
Now, after more than 4 months of long inaction, after sitting on the sidelines while we tried to negotiate with the recalcitrant White House, Senate Republicans are finally realizing the damage their pause, the McConnell pause, has done to the American economy and our nation's health.
Which is what? You want to give money to everybody all the time and keep them at home. You want to put other things in there. Republicans, you've been guilty too. Here's $2 billion for a new one of these. Here's $1 billion for... No. It's a simple thing. People are over the I'm going to die from this thing if I get it, because they realize that the media spun this crazy insanity of this 50 quadrillion people are going to die from this. It's not happening. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. You go and you're like, well, we're at 189,000. Remember, it was 2 million to start with. 189,000. Here we are. People are over this. They understand what the risk is. They do. People want to get back to living their lives. Let the politicians who are out there campaigning spin their rhetoric and their BS. But for the rest of us who need to get back to living, who need to get back to working, who need to get back out there trying to grow their business back up, who need to put food on the table and not dependent of some bureaucracy and government BS, let us get on living our lives. Like I said, if the mask works, evidence seems to be, hey, it's pretty good. We need to get back out there. We do. We need to get back out there. I don't need spin. I don't need politics over the damn mask. It's about time that we start living again. I don't want to watch sports where there's nobody in the crowd. I don't. It sucks. I'll be honest with you. Golf, I watch it because you're focused on the golfers. Crowd is always quiet. There's no, minus a clap after a shot or anything. You don't really get that sense. Even the best golfers outside of Tiger don't draw this massive audience that follow them everywhere to the point where that's a non-starter. It doesn't matter. But for the rest of it, it's got to be honest, I'm bored. I want to be able to go to a movie and not have to go, all right, here's the deal. We got to go eat 14 gallons of popcorn, so I don't have to wear this mask 24/7. Everybody's got to be 12 feet apart. I can only bring one family member. Are you kidding me? What if I have 3 kids? Well, sorry. I mean, it's enough. People want to start living their lives. They're looking at the data and they're saying, I'm willing to take calculated risk. I feel like this thing's been spun out of control and we needed to be cautious. We needed to be wary of how this thing was going to go because it's novel. We need to understand what the risks are, and we've done that. And now that we understand what they are, and now that we see the data, and we see the fight over the data that's been crap since the beginning of this damn thing, and it's been spun in political... Last week, the CDC comes out and says, what? Somebody posts something. Only 6% of people listed as coronavirus deaths were deaths only from coronavirus. And people came out and said, wait, what do you mean only 6%? So that means you only died because you caught the coronavirus. There was nothing else. You didn't have any underlying conditions, no comorbidities, none of that stuff. Well, that's insane. But then they have to go and spin it. Say, no. Everybody that's listed as dead, in fact, probably more, have died from the coronavirus. But only 6%. The coronavirus was the straw that broke the camel's back. You're like, spin it how you want. Well, all these kids are going back to college. Look at this crap. How many of them are in the hospitals? Because I look at a lot of things. I look at the hospital rates. Things that you can quantify. Not how many people you think have it, not how the test is or isn't this. Things that you can quantify. Like, what's real? Hospital rates are down. We're treating this thing better. We've got some therapeutics. While they're not perfect, they seem to be doing okay. People understand it. People are staying away. The people that were most at risk early on caught it, and some have died. And we need to talk about that, looking at you, Cuomo. But this is insane. And we're going to talk about schools, because let me tell you something. My son's out here now because he's got friends to play with. He's got family out here to play with. He's in school online, and he's losing his mind, as are most kids. They're frustrating. I've got a friend here today who I was talking to whose wife is a teacher. And they've had to put their kids in special school at a gymnastics place so they could do online learning and be around other kids. Because they're kids. This is frustrating. We need to get back to living. I think enough is enough. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows you. Well, you Twitter, you Instagram, you got Chad Benson Show TV. That's on the tube of the U. Oh, so much stuff, kids. So much stuff. I slept great last night. Thank you, Purple. You know what's great is I don't have to worry about hot and cold. That used to be my big thing. I couldn't get comfortable because the bed was uncomfortable. Then I was like, I'd wake up and I'm sweating, and then some nights it was nuts. And they've got the Purple Grid, which is awesome, right? It's patented comfort technology. No matter how you sleep, you're never going to have to worry about whether you sleep hot or cold, soft where you need it, firm where you absolutely need it. It's just amazing. It truly is. 2,800 open air channels, and it's the temperature neutral gel that makes you get comfortable and sleep without worrying about it being too hot or too cold. Here's the other thing. It's never going to lose shape. It's never going to sink. Every Purple mattress comes with a 100-night risk-free trial. Free shipping and returns. You don't like it? Turn it back in? Don't worry about it. They'll come, take it away. Away it goes. Save big, $150 off any Purple mattress order over $1,500. Go to purple.com/Benson. Use the promo code Benson. For a limited time, you get $150 off. Purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson for that $150 off. Purple.com. Promo code Benson. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
AstraZeneca, the drug company, saying it's a routine action for safety reasons after one of their volunteers suffered a potentially unexplained illness. The drug maker still hoping to minimize any potential impact on the trial timeline, while CEOs of 9 major drug companies in the race for a vaccine promised to not rush production, but to rather let science win.
Yeah, which they should. I don't think they're going to go, hey, we'll throw some. Russia throws stuff out there. I don't know if you heard yesterday, they were talking about Russia. Like, they've never really tested it on anybody, but they're really ready to get this thing out there, this vaccine that they've come up with, and then they'll do the scientific testing as they go. This is normal. I'm talking to a doctor yesterday. So my other show, we were chatting about this. So you expect certain things, headaches, maybe, body aches, little minor side effects for a vaccine that you would expect to get. And sometimes people get it with the flu. And this is unexpected. And so unexpected means they could have explosive diarrhea, and that's not one of the things, the 8 or 10 things that they are looking at that could be something. I'm throwing it out there. The other thing they're going to look at is, okay, is it because of this? Or did you travel to Mexico and you drank the water? Well, I would say don't drink the water. And you got Montezuma's revenge. Had it once. It's awful. I don't ever advise you to get it. But did you get something like that? There's nothing to do with this. Did you eat something? Did they want to go through the whole list, and that's what science should do. I don't think for a moment that anybody that is going to come as AstraZeneca, Moderna, any of the pharmaceutical companies that come up with whatever they're going to come up with as far as a vaccine, no matter how effective it is or isn't, means that they're throwing it against the wall, and then it's going to be completely unsafe, and then, then everybody's going to explode after a year. That's not going to happen. It isn't. So they're going to check all the boxes. They're going to go through it. They're rushing to get it out. The reality is we may get one out that is 35% effective, 40% effective. Remember, the flu vaccine is about 35 to 50% effective, depending on, it's a guess, it's flu A, flu B, the whole. So they go and do this. And in a year and a half from now, we may get something that's more effective. Somebody took a little bit longer time with it. Find out that it is more cost effective and more effective in fighting said coronavirus. But right now, it's a race to get out. And let's not forget, it's also a business. And first mover advantage is extremely important. Getting out there in that first mover advantage is mightily important in this day and age. Look at it in the media. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Did you beat everybody else to it? So this is what we're going to have coming up. Something, I think realistically, we'll get a bigger trial where they may open it up in the next 6 to 8 weeks and start giving it to some first responders, some people who are at higher risk. But you and I, the average person, we're not going to see anything probably till March, April, May. It's going to take a while. It is. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Text the program. Love hearing from each and every one of you. I do. So we're going to talk about school because it is chaos and craziness. Many of you parents at home right now are frustrated. Many of you teachers, by the way, are at home and frustrated that this has turned into a world of wackiness and chaos over this. We'll talk about it straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Younger kids are just now, over the past few weeks, starting to get out and about. So we just don't have the same sort of data in terms of how much these younger children may spread the virus. We do know a couple things. We do know that children can become infected with the virus. Becoming infected does not necessarily mean you get sick. It means you have the virus inside your body. They have found the virus inside the nose, the mouths of younger kids, even if they're not sick. And sometimes those viral loads, the amount of virus has been much higher even than in adults.
But it doesn't affect them the same way. The data. Again, you're talking, that's fear. This is what we know. Well, we also know that they're not in the hospitals. That the children that have died have all had underlying conditions. That the flu is more dangerous to them. We understand that. Well, what about the spread of this, that? This is the frustration that people are having. It's not misinformation. Hell, at times it's not even disinformation. It's just not all of the information. Sometimes there is misinformation. Sometimes there is disinformation. But in many cases anymore, it's just not all of the information. We don't know. It's novel. What should we? Kids need to go back to school. My son is losing it. He's 10. My son Jack is 10 years old. He's got family here, and he's got friends here. So he's out here. When he's at home with his mom in San Diego, where he normally lives and goes to school. He's got like one of the best schools in the country that he goes to. And by the way, their online platform, awesome, because they're a STEM school, tech school. They put it together. The teachers are all tech savvy. They're not having any problems. They don't have any issues whatsoever. So he's blessed. But I'll tell you this right now. He's losing his mind. There was times he's been angry and raging. He's come out here. There's more activity. He's doing more things, even through the heat. But it's still nowhere near. And everybody will attest to that. These kids are struggling. We want to keep people safe. You've always had to pray, we want to keep people safe. Well, then why don't we just keep everybody indoors all the time? Well, that's just stupid. Come on now. If I can go to the grocery store, right? So being of sound mind, can go to the grocery store and be around a bunch of people who are also at the grocery store. And there are workers at the grocery store, or Walmart or Target or whatever it is that you go to and you frequent. Can we not send kids to school safely? Well, what about the mask? Well, I mean, they're showing, especially children under a certain age, they don't need to wear a mask. They're going to be fine. What about them spreading it? So when we talk to the teachers, do we give them a little bit more pay? Do we ask the teachers, what would you like to do? There's some parents out there whose kids have issues, so they're going to want to keep their kids home. Do we split it up and give some kids remote opportunities and other kids the opportunity to go back to school? Yes. But Dr. Gupta and so many of these people, it's this fear factor that I'm just sick and tired of.
The big question now, and in some ways we're going through this an experiment altogether over the next several weeks as these kids do return to school in some of these districts to see how much do they spread the virus now. That's the big question. They can get infected, they have the virus, they're not as likely to get sick, but how much do they spread the virus? That is what we still don't know for sure. And I think, one way we're going to find out is what happens over the next few weeks.
Well, we could just keep it home. We'll find out that they don't spread it then because nobody leaves the house. So there you go. It's a win. And the changing all the time. California now, it's under 2% before the kids can go back to school. That goalpost, it went from flattening the curve to finding a cure. It is insane. It is. How about kids that are going to school and getting in trouble, for God's sakes?
17-year-old Maverick Stowe of Mastic Beach on Long Island, New York, was scheduled for remote learning on Tuesday as part of pandemic protocols. Instead, he showed up in person. After a teacher noticed his name wasn't on her roster for in-person classes, Stowe got sent to the principal's office. He was suspended for a week.
Principal said that I needed to leave, and I said, well, no, I think I need to go to class. This is during class time, and he's teaching.
His mother says she thinks he did the right thing.
Virtual learning is not learning.
I think that a 5-day suspension is out of line.
So there are kids in school, but he had a virtual learning day. He wants to be in school. So you're suspended. Sweet mother of God. What the hell is wrong with us? I'm just curious. What is wrong at this moment in time? This moment in time, what is wrong that we're sitting here saying to ourselves, kid who goes to school gets suspended for 5 days? That's nuts. Can we all agree that's insane? Kids need to be in school.
My son is being suspended because he wants to be in school.
Me? I'd be like, all right, I remote learned for the last 2 years I went to school here in America because I was training essentially full time. So I would go to class for an hour or two, and then I would train all day, and then I'd do my work at night, and then I would train more. It wasn't the same as being in school. I missed out on certain things. I know that. I get that. But I traveled a lot. I was playing soccer, doing a bunch of different things. So it's a different time. My little brother, he remote learned, as did his entire team, because his last year of hockey at the time when he was going to school, he was at such a level that, these guys are at a level at that point in time where you're either you've got nothing but scholarship offers, which he had a ton of, or you're going to go into, you're going to be drafted and go straight into, either the NHL or the minors. But they all did remote learning. but it wasn't the same. He tells me same thing. This is insane. Here's the principal.
Principal said that I needed to leave, and I said, well, no, I think I need to go to class.
Principal says you need to leave. You need to. Why? What? Let's listen to that again. Principal, what'd you say?
Principal said that I needed to leave, and I said, well, no, I think I need to go to class. This is during class time, and he's teaching.
So you got the Stowe kid who wants to go to school. They say, you can't. Look at the college kids. There's like 29,000 college kids that have tested positive for this. Okay, so they've tested positive for it. How many of them are currently in the hospital? I don't have that data, but last time I checked, they were talking yesterday, it was 0. Okay. Everybody needs to breathe. We need some reality brought back in this world. I know it's crazy, but just for a second, let's just start thinking to ourselves, wash our hands, do a little social distancing, wear a mask, we can resume some normal life. Well, we really can't. Why? Well, because that's not good enough. So what you're telling me is washing my hands even more than already washing your hands and wearing a mask isn't good enough. Then why do we wear the mask? Because it stops the spread. Well, then I should be able to resume my life in a normal way until we find a great therapeutic. And, because once we find a therapeutic, all bets are off, at that point in time. And once we get to a vaccine, but it's frustrating. And parents, I get it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. One of the things to my mother. So my son's school is great. So for those of you who don't listen to the show, my mom has adopted my nieces and nephews. So I have like one of these 8-year-old little brother. And I got a 10-year-old little brother. And I've got a 15-year-old little brother. And I got a 16-year-old little brother. And then I got the older little brother who's 21. But the two who are going to public school, one of them, the high school, has been an absolute disaster. They're like 3 weeks in. He's had like 2 Zoom calls with his class. It's been a joke. One of them, it's hit and miss. My mother was so frustrated at the youngest, she pulled him and put him in private school. She's like, I can't do this anymore. This is nuts. That's the frustration I hear from parents over and over again. And just because they open, don't think that they're not going to close. Because it's going to happen, people. Get ready for it. This thing is there's a difference between being safe and taking a calculated risk and getting to the point where we've just decided to cede all common sense and sanity and hand it over to other people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Will they get a stimulus bill done? To me, that's important. Another one of these things that we should be talking more about when it comes to what's going on out there, because that's what people are looking at now. They're looking at the economy. Nobody wants to get sick. We always have to preface that, Jack, because otherwise if you just talk solely about the economy, that means you have no empathy. Nobody does. But what we want is some action when it comes to getting a bill out there. Some people are pissed, the likes of, Chuck Schumer.
As they scramble to make up for this historic mistake, Senate Republicans appear dead set on another bill, which doesn't come close to addressing the problems in our country. Republicans are going to cut their original inadequate $1 trillion skinny bill in half.
A skinny bill. Why can't we do a bill that is not just skinny, it is solely a standalone bill on stimulus and helping people who've been put out of work through no fault of their own because of the coronavirus and the bizarre, ridiculous shutdowns in some places where you just thought, what in God's name are you doing? Why can't we just take a step back and go, all right, and help these people out? This is what it is. If you want to deal about all of the other stuff, your Green New Deal, your money for your FBI buildings, your all of the other stuff, deal with it at another time. You're worried about getting over a wall that's 2 miles away and how you're going to deal with that when you have a wall in front of you take on the thing that matters most first. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Trump nominated for a Nobel Prize. Why are you guys laughing? I mean, the historic deal, I just want to reiterate how big of a deal this is. If this was Obama, if this was Bush, if this was Carter, if this was anybody else but Trump, the UAE-Israeli deal would be massive. They'd be talking about it. Oh, historic. But it was talked about for a second and a half. And that's it. Second and a half. Because it was Trump. I get it. It's a pain in the ass. But still. So he was nominated. He won't win. I'm just letting you guys know that. They'll do everything in their power. It's like when you used to watch Funniest Home Videos. Back in the day where the funniest video was always about somebody got hit in the grundle by somebody. But the video that won every week when they gave him $10,000 was always the little kid. It was cute. The puppy licked his face. It wasn't the funniest home video. The dude who got kicked in the grundle and then fell over the fence and his pants ripped off, that was awesome. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. Been working with them for a while. Incredible organization. So what they do is they rescue dogs that would be euthanized. And realizing, because it's vet-started, that veterans are struggling, especially returning home from conflict and war, some injured, some struggling to fit back into society. They unite these animals with these veterans and now first responders. And what they do is amazing. So they train these animals to be service dogs. They take them to the shelter and get them to become service dogs. And it is incredible, the work that they're doing. They need your help. It takes a while to get these dogs up to scratch. It takes a while to build these dogs up. And sometimes these dogs are there as to help people who are struggling with PTSD. And sometimes it's with people who have injuries physically. And sometimes it's for families. One of the dogs they just trained that was like a fighting dog, and they've trained it now, is for a boy who has autism. It is amazing. Several ways you can give. You can go to woundedpawproject.org. Find out how you can give there. They love a donation of a vehicle, which is amazing. Goes a long way. Really, really does. All the proceeds will go to protect, advocate, and transform shelter dogs and service dogs. You go to smile.amazon.com. Set your supporting group up as well. And they also take cash. Check it out for yourself. woundedpawproject.org. woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
If you follow the Chad Benson Show, it's the T-shirt we're going to do. It's our next T-shirt. Producer Phil, remind everybody about nature and what nature will do.
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up, case in point.
First, a community is on edge this morning after a man was killed by a great white shark at a popular Gold Coast beach. 46-year-old Nick Slater was rushed to shore by dozens of nearby surfers, but he couldn't be revived. Tim Follett saw the chaos unfold from Greenmount Beach and joins us now. Thank you so much for your time this morning. What a traumatic day for everyone involved. What did you see?
So they go to this guy. By the way, this is just a guy who's a random dude. Him and his family are there visiting. He does a hell of a job. You'd think he's a reporter. The way he talks to her, too. Well, let me tell you, Amanda. But he sees everything, and it's a trip because people filmed it, and you can see stuff going on in the water. They've got their cameras and they're 100 yards away. It's not like they've got Zoom right in, and it's not like it's a 20-minute process. It's something that happens fast. But, well, he'll tell you.
Well, it was about 10 past five, and I was along the Greenmount boardwalk on my way to a chicken parmigiana for dinner and just enjoying the sunset in the background, and all of a sudden there was this big splash in the water, which could have been a surfer. A few of us were standing around on the boardwalk at the time, didn't really know what had happened, and then all of a sudden this big flock of seagulls came, congregated around the water, and that's really when the commotion broke out, and other surfers came to help. There were ladies screaming. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic at the start there.
Yeah, it was. And then they bring him to shore. And from far away, because I don't think you don't really want to you see 6 or 7 surfers are bringing him to shore, but you can tell as much as you want to tell that whatever got to him, great white, size-wise, wasn't this like 6 or 8 footer that just took an exploratory bite. It was something massive. And he died. And this is like but nature messes you up. We've talked about this. And people say, well, why are there more shark attacks? We touched on this yesterday. Anthony and I said, well, part of the reason is because they've been protected. And they started being protected about 25 years ago. Do you realize that a female great white doesn't become sexually mature to the point where they can produce a baby sometimes until their 30s? So you're just seeing now what happens. It's crazy. But once again, we remind you guys, nature will mess you up. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
As they scrambled to make up for this historic mistake, Senate Republicans appear dead set on another bill, which doesn't come close to addressing the problems in our country.
And what are those problems? Are they self-inflicted? Chucky! Are they self-inflicted? Have we done it to ourselves? Is this an us problem?
Shockingly.
Thank you. Is Chad awesome?
Shockingly.
Handsome?
Shockingly.
Great golfer?
Shockingly.
Nice. He's talking about the stimulus bill because he's pissed because there's not enough. They're not spending enough money. We need to spend more of the money. Whose money? The money we're printing. Who's paying it back? Who are we borrowing it from? We're borrowing it from ourselves. No, China owns the debt. No, Japan owns more debt than China does. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, well then, who owns the most debt? We own the most debt. Who are we? Us, the taxpayers. So we're borrowing from ourselves? Well, in a weird way, yeah, but mostly we're borrowing our kids' futures. Screw them, I don't know. Print the hell out of it. People want to go back to work. They don't want another, here's some dollars, get on with your life. Now, that's going to have to happen in some way because we've jacked the pooch in many places. And because of that, and because of the overreach in other places where the goalpost of what we can and can't do continues to move as we flatten the curve to now, all of a sudden, let's just find a cure and then everybody can go back to normal. As that continues to flounder around out there, we're in a situation where we're trying to figure this whole thing out. So some people are going to need help through no fault of their own. Their lives, their economic lives have been squashed. So what now? Are we going to get another bill? Larry Kudlow.
You said that you believe that we can survive without another round of stimulus. You said, quoting here, look, we can live with it. We can absolutely live with it.
As I say, we are in a self-sustaining recovery. Besides the jobs, we're in a housing boom, we're in autos boom, we're in a consumer spending boom. Inventories are at rock bottom. They're going to be rebuilt. Small businesses have greater confidence. No, the economy is rebounding. It's V-shaped. It's going to be at least 20% in Q3 and probably Q4.
I would love that. How real is that? I don't know. Because I don't even understand what's going on half the time in places that either my family live, California, where I have a business, California, or here in Arizona where I find myself. Hey, this gym can open, but the gym across the street can't open. Why? Well, because of the thing. What thing's that? You know. That thing? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know any of this. This place can have some food and they can open because they can serve some food, but it's a bar, but it's not a bar, but it's kind of a bar, but they can only operate at 3% capacity. Okay. These people over here that are a restaurant, they can't open at all. You're like, really? This feels a little random. And they have to apply to reopen their business. It's insane. It is just, it's nuts. We have lost the plot. Are we going to need some help? Yeah, because people, through no fault of their own, have lost their ability to earn an income or to earn the same income because now, even if they are coming back, they've been told, hey, you worked 40 hours, I can only pay you for 20. The business is down. They're only allowing us to stay open to a certain time. That's it. And Kudlow, Larry, hits it out the pack.
Right. But the president wants this stimulus. President wants this stimulus, and he says the Democrats are trying to keep it away from him because they believe it'll help him get reelected.
Targeted areas, Secretary Mnuchin has said this many times, so has the president. Targeted areas could be very helpful, maybe even make the recovery even stronger, okay?
There we go, targeted areas. And I think that it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't. But we make it hard because we decide, hey, this is what we need to do. Anybody have any bright ideas? You know what we should do? We should bring in politics. Because if we're bringing politics to this, it's gonna make everything smoother. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it smoother. It's a mess. And that's what we have. We've got a mess going on. We've got an election coming up that is going to be a mess. I'm here to tell you this right now. This thing isn't going to be decided on Tuesday. And it won't be decided by Sunday either. Because that's just the numbers. That's not the legal battle that's going to take place. The legal battle that's going to take place, which is already starting. That's the pre-show to the show to eventually the judges. So you have all of this going on and the coronavirus, which we're still trying to figure out what's going on with this. Like, we're seeing numbers. They're going up, they're going down. We had 81 here yesterday in Arizona. 81 people test positive for the coronavirus. So we had 81 people test positive. I don't know, what is this the lowest it's been since I can. So my other show, my on-air partner, he keeps all the stats. He has all these stats from like April. And that's lower than anything he's got. Okay. So that's good. But I look at the reality of this coronavirus, which is what we should be looking at, is what do the hospitals look like? Remember, Florida's going to be awful. Like, this is it. Florida's done. It's God's waiting room, so it's got to be over. It's going to be worse than New York. Nobody's been worse than New York. New Jersey and New York have been their own separate island of stupidity. And then you've got Cuomo, he's just a tool. And the investigation that's coming on him is going to be big. He's fighting that right now. He's fighting that big time. He put sick people back in nursing facilities. And then he's out telling everybody, this is all Trump's fault. Well, if you want to blame Trump for the national, fine. But let's just keep it at the local where you live. We're going to blame that on you. That blood's on your hands. People want to get back to work. People want to get back to work. They want to get back to living their lives. They want to get back to feeling like they're more in control because they are. We've allowed government and government officials. That's why I say, because let's remember this. At the end of the day, the federal side of things, the things that we're looking at this moment in time, we talk about the election. The election isn't, you just don't go on that Tuesday night in November and vote for the president. It's the local municipalities, counties, cities, states that are so important. Trump didn't shut down your business. didn't do it. Your state did. Your city did. Your community did. Or decided not to. The craziness and the beauty of what we have here as the United States, not state, but the United States, is our little fiefdoms, our little worlds that we live in. They govern themselves. Then we come together as one, kind of like a transformer when they all get together, the Power Rangers, when they become the big robot. It's frustrating at times. But that's why voting is so important, and not just about the let's focus on only the stuff that happens in D.C. Because at the end of the day, what happens in your community, in the political world, is far more important and more relevant in your day-to-day world than the chaos and craziness that goes on in D.C. Right now, D.C. can help by getting a stimulus bill passed, by getting us all in a position, and by that I mean people that are truly suffering because their businesses have shut down, or they've now got to a point where they're only working part-time and they've picked up another driving for Uber or Grubhub or whatever. There is targeted things that we can do. But the first thing that needs to be done is let's focus on that and let everything else be battled on after this. That's the way this should be. But when you're pissed at why isn't the government doing more look at your local government, because all too often you're looking at a much different thing. The animal that you should look at is the one in front of you. Don't worry about the bear cub 300 yards away. Mama bear's in front of you. Deal with that thing first, which is the local side of it. People in California, they're over Gavin Newsom. I've got friends who are super liberal and progressive. They can't stand him. He has blown this. People in New York are pissed. Cuomo's blaming Trump, and everybody's like, look in the mirror. There's plenty of blame to go around. How about we blame later and find solutions today? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Text the program. Chad Benson Show TV is your YouTube. Go subscribe there. We're doing more and 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 more. As much as we possibly can. I am only but one person here in the video editing suite world. And I'm trying my hardest. So we'll be putting out more very, very soon. HelloFresh. Last night, HelloFresh, we HelloFreshed it up, family dinner. I got home, Jack he loves it. It's a puzzle of food. So if you don't know what it is, it's the number one meal kit in America. It's great. It takes all of the guesswork out of it. You don't have to worry about it. You get home, or maybe you're at home. It's delivered right to your door. And 22 chef-curated recipes. They got everything. I mean, they've got low calories. So maybe Jack's going to go home next week, so I'll probably do a little low calorie because we've been having a little bit of fun. I'm having to work out extra. Vegetarian, family-friendly options. We're doing that. And it's a put-together time. Right? So what are we going to have? We're going to have this. We're going to have Kraft Burger. That's fantastic. This is what it is. Here's the recipe. Put it together. Within 20 minutes, you're gobbling it down. Saving huge money, 40% versus shopping at your local grocery store. And the other thing, it's portioned perfectly. So you're not throwing excess waste and food away. That's great. It truly is. And they're flexible at HelloFresh. Let's say you're going on vacation. You can skip a week. Maybe you need to add meals like I had to because Jack is here. That's the beauty of it. My son's here. He likes to eat a lot of food. He does. I don't know if you're aware of this. Kids eat a lot. HelloFresh was there for me. Get started. It's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use promo code Benson. It's $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. Promo code is Benson at HelloFresh.com. $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? A lot of stuff's trending, kids. The internet's always going 24/7, 365 days a year. There's an earthquake in New Jersey. So the governor probably took more power. You guys feel that? Quick, more emergency powers for me. That guy, talk about an authoritarian. He is like, he's overridden his entire left-leaning legislative branch that is running everything there. He's like, I'm now the supreme being. Trump's bad because he's an authoritarian. Listen to what Lakers trending because they won last night, I think. I don't know. That's how much I don't care about sports at this moment in time. We're going to get deeper into it in a little bit because the NFL kicks off tomorrow. But yeah, the Lakers did win. Like, I didn't even pay that. Normally, I like, especially playoffs. Kardashians no longer have to keep up with them. Season by the end of 2021, I think it's season 20 is what it'll be. Even though it's only been on for like 14 or 15 years, it's like the season 20. They're going to call it quits from whatever it is that they're doing. Here's what's going to change. Nothing. You'll see them 24/7, and instead on television, you'll see them with the cameras that they carry around with them 24/7. That's all that's going to change. That's it. Nothing else. Head on over to the magical world of Twitter, where everybody hates each other. Nobel Peace Prize. Donald Trump has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize because of the thing with the United Arab Emirates and Israel. And I know it's just, right? Like, it's stupid. And then people start, well, Adolf Hitler was. I'm like, if I made that same argument and then people are like, well, Obama won one. Obama didn't know why he won one. Tell me what Obama did to win one. I'll wait. Still waiting. Don't know. Still waiting. Trump is a racist. Trump is a rapist. Always Twitter. Somewhere. Everywhere. Ellen is coming back. And she is going to address the scandal on her. Is it a scandal? People are jerks. People are awful. You've got a large crew. And is it a scandal? No, I just think that you had some bad employees that work for you. I think you run a little bit of a tighter ship. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't. I mean, I don't know her. We were talking about it yesterday when I first got back from England, didn't know what to do, and I was working the radio part-time, and I was trying to do comedy. I got a gig to open up one night, like be the guy that opens up, does like 5 minutes, and then I get like a free meal ticket and a drink, like all the soda I could drink. And it was at the Improv in Irvine. It wasn't even at the really big Improv, it was at the other little itty-bitty one, and she was like the middle act. Like that's the extent of my meeting her. But I don't think she's a bad person. I just think we live in this world where we decide sometimes that, we hear something and we blame it on somebody and we get rid of it. Maybe she's the worst person on earth. But I also think she's a big enough target that it's worthwhile. You don't take somebody out when they're little, do you? Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You reportedly spent $400 million on 20 years of naming rights for that stadium here in Los Angeles. It's weird that the season is kicking off with no fans in the stands. What does that mean for you and in your investment?
First and foremost, we have to look out to the safety and well-being of all the people, whether NFL fans or otherwise. And all of the leadership of the NFL, the Rams and the Chargers and SoFi are all aligned in making sure we put the health and welfare of people first and foremost.
It's a lot of money. $5 billion is what that stadium cost. It's amazing. I've flown over it when it wasn't quite done, but it was getting there. So you fly into L.A. and you go over LAX, whether you're leaving or coming, you get to see this thing. As you fly into it, it's amazing. They've dug down into the ground. So the stadium, it's not like a lot of stadiums where you walk up and it goes straight up and you're like, whoa. It doesn't look like it goes up that high. Like, how can they get this many people into a stadium? But the stadium itself, they've dug into the ground, so it drops. So when you walk in, it goes down. It's amazing. It is incredible. It's going to be empty. It is going to be empty. Heck, if the way LA's going, right? Mary Yoga Pants, they call him. Garcetti. And the way that California's going, they may never allow anybody to play there again. Somebody could get hurt.
I couldn't be more excited about the unveiling of SoFi Stadium next Sunday night when the Rams take on the Cowboys. We went into this investment focused on leveraging the great credibility of the National Football League, the Rams and Chargers, to make SoFi a household name. Our thesis behind the stadium really was centered around it becoming the most iconic destination for sports and live entertainment, and we think that will come to fruition next Sunday night. And while we'd love to have fans in the stands, they'll be on television seeing this great experience that has been built by the National Football League and all their owners.
Well, I'm sure that would be true, but they'd like to have fans there. And I don't know what tomorrow night's going to look like. First of all, how woke is it going to be? Right? How woke is it going to be? Because the NFL is going to want to make their statement. Major League Baseball made theirs. The NHL, they made theirs. And, of course, the NBA and the WNBA. I don't want to leave that out. Let's define a little irony. So these women were wearing the Jacob Blake shirt. Of course, the gentleman who was shot in Wisconsin, in Kenosha. They're wearing their Justice for Jacob Blake and all of this stuff. And he was wanted on felony sexual assault of a woman by penetrating her, unwanted, stealing her credit card, and stealing her car. Solid. Me too. Chad, you're being a real jerk. No, we could talk about policing. We can talk about all those stuff, but some of it is just, how woke is it going to be? Because the NBA, if you look at the ratings, it's people are over it. And I asked yesterday, are you excited about the NFL? And producer Phil and I love the NFL. And producer Phil said, I don't know how excited I'm going to be about this Sunday. I'm going to make food. Are you going to be excited? Can you be? When there's no crowd, that's also something else. Take away the wokeness of it, the emptiness of it is going to be weird. As excited as I want to get, because the European soccer leagues have figured it out with the soundtrack and the way that things work, because there's always noise in the crowd. There's always certain things that they're doing. And so they've kind of figured it out in a certain way, and they could focus on the field most of the time. Golf has always been a quiet sport. So I don't know what that's going to be like. But are they going to woke themselves to death? I don't think so. I think what we're going to see tomorrow night is they come out. They're going to have their opportunity and moment, and they're going to get on with the game. And Sunday will be the same thing. I mean, sometimes I'm thinking to myself, and people are like, well, the movement has to come first. I'm like, they're over it. I've got friends who are so progressive, and they're like, I don't want to watch like a rally that becomes a basketball game. I don't. I said, if you put MAGA on the floor, people are freaking out. You put a pro-life message on the floor, people are losing their mind. It's nuts. You've got a platform. You want to use it. Go ahead and use it. But you also have to respect that even people that sometimes stand with you are like, I'm going through COVID. I'm sitting here struggling to put food on the table. This has been a hell of a year for every single person, and I'm struggling. I'd like an escape every once in a while. You want to come out afterwards and at your press conference, make it about something. You've also got access, and that's the other thing when I talk to people about the wokeness of it all. 50 years ago, you go back and you look at Muhammad Ali, 40 years ago, 30 years, you go back and look, athletes had the opportunity, not like they do today. They had the opportunity on the field in certain moments to make a certain statement. They have it 24/7 because everybody has it now. Everybody has it now. With the 24/7 news cycle and the thing that you're holding in your hand, maybe you're listening to the show on, which is your phone. So it's a different platform. I've never had an issue. You know what's funny is, and this is, I tweeted this yesterday. I look at Kaepernick and I can give him props, even though he's in the new Madden and he shouldn't be. He hasn't played football for like 5 years. And he's better than half the NFL, which I'm sure they're going to be thrilled with. But he didn't conform. He did something. Now it's easy to do. Everybody takes a knee. If you stand up now, it's like, wow, that person's got courage. It's frustrating. I think tomorrow night, the NFL, I want to see what they're going to do. Because people, they can say that it doesn't affect them, the owners and the league, and they need to do all these things. You got to say the right thing. There's just things that if you don't, you're just an evil, bad person. That's what you'd be labeled a racist, whatever it is. You could say all of those things, but at the end of the day, it is still a business, and it will come down to a bottom line. And if it becomes a situation where it's only wokeness, and it's only about the activism, and the sports go, they're so far out there that it doesn't matter. And we're already dealing with the other political side of stuff with the coronavirus, and college football doesn't want to play. And, Clay Travis, I love listening to him when he talks about the Corona Bros who are pissed off because some college football is playing in the NFL. By the way, the NFL testing, I'm just throw this out there. One player tested positive. In the latest round, one player tested positive. 2,641 players, 5,700 other personnel between August 30th and September 5th. One player tested positive. Since the start of training camp a month ago, only 24 people have tested positive. But if at the end of the year, this thing being a business, and the battle of the coronavirus and not having fans in the stands, that political side of it, and then you look up and you see your ratings drop by 15, 20, 30%, people will start to go, okay, well, we can't do this. And where it'll start affecting is the bottom line of the players as well. Because when you go to ask for that, I want that $30 million guaranteed money, sorry, the revenue's not there. What do you mean? Well, it's people they've turned it off. They're not watching. They've moved on to other things. Why? I don't know. They just have. So tomorrow night will be interesting. I'm looking at it from a pure sports side of things. What's it going to be like? What's Kansas City going to be like tomorrow night in a stadium that holds 80,000, which is arguably the best stadium in football that gives you the most college-like atmosphere, going to be like virtually empty? Is it going to be an experience that sucks? It's possible. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you, and you over there, and you over there, and you right there. Mitch McConnell, you guys going to get us a stimulus bill anytime soon?
extending the additional federal unemployment benefit for jobless workers, providing a second round of job-saving paycheck protection program for the hardest-hit small businesses to prevent layoffs.
That's the skinny bill that he's talking about, which, of course, Chuck Schumer hates because it's skinny, and he wants to. The Republicans used to be anorexic, and the other ones used to have an eating disorder when it comes to spending money. That's the way it used to be, and that's what balanced everything. Now all of them have some sort of disorder. One of them talks like they have anorexia or something like when it comes to spending your money, but they still just consume all the time. But let's just get this bill done.
Sending more than $100 billion to help K-12 schools and universities reopen safely and educate our kids. Dedicating billions more for testing, contact tracing, treatments, and vaccines.
Not enough. We want $500 quadrillion. I don't know if we're going to get a stimulus. I just don't think the politics are right now. They've picked their side. These are the hill at this moment in time that both seem to want to die on, and they're only playing to their base. And the closer we get to election time, the more it's going to be base only. Everybody else can fend for themselves. That's why I keep telling everybody. The more you depend on government, the more disappointed you're going to be in life. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. Go like and subscribe. The old YouTube. So, rough greens. People ask me, how real is it? Like, yeah, Chad, you talk about stuff, but how real is it? So my dog Doodle, who I love, we adopted him. He was supposed to be like 6, and it turned out he was like 9. So he's like 11 or 12 now. And he's got fatty tumors, arthritis. We were debating putting him to sleep, seriously, because I didn't know what to do. I mean, he was nippy and bitey all the time. He growled. He didn't like to be touched. We tried rough greens. We tried everything else. And so rough greens, we tried. Sprinkle it on his food. It's got everything that the dog food doesn't have. That dog food's meant to live on a shelf for a very extended period of time. It is not meant to be living. And this brings the food to life. Antioxidants, omega-3, 6, and 9. It's got, fruits and vegetables and all this stuff that is just amazing. And after about 7 days, I was like, wow, that's a difference. He's moving around. He's jumping. After 2 weeks, which is the jump start, different dog. We're about 6 months into it. He is the happiest, bounciest. We've got puppies, and he is as bouncy as they are. Try it for yourself. Your pooch will love it. $14.95 for a 14-day jumpstart. And you're saying, well, Chad, my dog's old. And my dog's not old. My dog's younger. Trust me. This is about prolonging and keeping healthy and giving them the things that they're not getting. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. Roughgreens.com. RUFFgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. $14.95 is all it costs for a 14-day jumpstart. They will thank you for it. Rough Greens, we make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
You're just miserable. Lunch was...
Love it or hate it, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is one of TV's biggest ever reality show hits. And now, it's coming to a close. The family posted a statement to social media Tuesday announcing that the reality show's 20th season, airing next year, will be its last. Keeping Up with the Kardashians debuted on E! In October 2007 and quickly made household names of Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, Kendall, and Kylie, and mom, Kris Jenner.
Everything is just not fun.
And mom, Caitlyn Jenner, who also used to be dad. I hope you're laughing at that one, Phil.
Hell yeah, I am.
Yeah, they left that out. Think about that, though. Look, brilliant. People always get on me because I'm like, brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely self-made, capitalized, used what they had in front and made it work. Made it absolutely work for them. Totally brilliant. One of them capitalized to the tune of about $1 billion on her looks and the influence she could have. Insane. Great work. Did I watch the show? Never. Any episodes? Not a one. Do I know who Kim is, and I know there's a Khloe and a Kourtney, and I don't know which ones they are. I get them confused, and I know there's a Kendall Jenner and a Kylie Jenner. There's a guy named Rob who they have issues with, who's their brother. But I've never seen the show. I've never seen the show, and yet I know who they are. Brilliant. It's stupid, it's mindless, it's dumb. You still know who they are. I'm just saying, it's real. Oh yeah, I do. I know who they are. I do. Of course. Isn't it amazing? Do you remember who started all of this? Being famous for the sake of being famous? Wasn't it Hilton? Wasn't it Paris Hilton, really? She was like famous for what? Nothing. This was brilliant. Got to give it to him. You do. You have to give them. They have taken this and they have run with it and they've made something out of it, and that's a win right there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Feel free to text the program. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the YouTube. Mark Zuckerberg talking about stuff on the old Facebook.
A lot of misinformation come from cases where there has been some instance of harm, but that people are kind of blowing it out of proportion or saying it's more prevalent or common than it actually is.
And, you know, he's trying to balance act of, stuff. I think if it was up to him, I think he would just let everything go. I mean, not the advocating violence, because that's insane. But I think the other stuff, the misinformation, the disinformation, the uninformed, the stupid, I don't think he wants to be inside of playing referee. I think others do. They don't mind it. But I think Mark's not that dude. He isn't. Well, it's misinformation. It's harmful. It's again, when it comes to information, if it matters to you, you will do the work to find out all that you possibly can. If it matters to you. If all that matters is affirming your viewpoint, you're going to search out what just affirms your viewpoint, even if it's wrong. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm very worried about President Trump and his administration politicizing every aspect of the coronavirus, including vaccines. And he keeps talking about his expectation that a vaccine might be available before the election. He's the one who's injected politics into this by using the election as some sort of deadline, when we all know that for the safety and the effectiveness of a vaccine pursuant to longstanding FDA policy, there needs to be a process that can't be rushed.
Susan Rice right there. Let's all listen to her. She's never politicized anything ever. Ever! Ever! You know what she said right there? Listen to this again. And there's a word that is so not government that it's foreign to them.
I'm very worried about President Trump and his administration politicizing every aspect of the coronavirus, including vaccines. And he keeps talking about his expectation.
His expectation You know what you have in at work? Is everybody gather around the radio, like we used to do in the old days, right? Like World War II. Everybody gather around the radio. She said a word there. Expectation. You know what you don't have in government? Expectation. Because there's no accountability. You know, when Trump started going through people, and let's be real, he's going through a mass of people. An absolute mass of people. There's always turnover at the White House. We don't hear about it. His turnover's been pretty big, but every one of those jobs is a sell-by date. It's a stepping stone for a majority. You're there because, wow, this is it. I'm going to use this on my resume to get anything I want to get and go anywhere I want to go. The foot in the door is now me inside of the door. It's not even a foot. But expectations. There's no expectations. There's no accountability. People work for the government. You don't ever get fired. You got to really try to get fired from the government, especially at the federal level and the state levels and certain levels. It's insane. I have expectations. My work, I have expectations. You do a show. You prep for it. You work hard. The expectation that I have on myself is greater than that of the people that have expectations for me. And the goals that I set for myself are bigger. In government, it would be just show up and do it. And if it gets done, great. If not, expectations. That's a big word. Every one of you you're either a owner of something or you work for somebody or a group of people. And in your job, you have an expectation. Your boss or the people that you work for have expectations. They expect you to produce something for them. And then on top of that, if you own something, you expect the people that work for you to do a job. And you have expectations. The politicization, we could politicize anything. And they're not even pretending anymore. It's like the difference between music 50 years ago and music today. Like they're not even pretending. There's no nuance. There's no subtleties. This is what we're going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it to you. You're like, oh. Expectations. I expect that the people that are producing these vaccines are going to do, like they all signed a pledge that we're not going to give something that's going to kill a bunch of people. I never expected them to. By the way, I never expected, even without government, that they were going to produce something that's going to kill a bunch of people. Never. I expect that in a third world country in the middle of godforsaken nowhere where people are trying to figure out how to survive something. And they've gone to a shaman or something like that, or they've turned to some old, thing that they've done supposedly in the past, and they get something that's tainted. I don't expect that here, even if there was no FDA approval or CDC or anything. I don't expect them to produce something that's going to kill a bunch of people. Expectations are good. We should have more expectations. We should have expectations for every person in government, that you do your job to the best of your ability. And you remember, you work for us. You don't work for a party. You work for the people. And the expectation is you do your gig. I don't want perfection. Just want progress. Not a big deal. I don't need perfection. I need progress. I just love the expectation. He's putting expectations on people. That's what great people do. Is Trump great? You can argue the business side of stuff and this, that, and the other all day long. But I'll tell you what, you work for Steve Jobs, who was brutal to work for. You think Trump's bad? He had expectations. We need more expectations. My God, we've stopped at the lowest level of life anymore expecting people to do certain things. It's nuts. It's crazy. Well, he's politicized this. You know what he is? He's a politician now. And you've politicized it, being the other side. And we're sitting here talking about a virus that has destroyed our economy, that despite all of that, our economy is fighting back. It is. In a weird way, it's fighting back. We're fighting over, well, what should the percent positive be for kids to go back to school? First it was, let's flatten the curve. And then it was like, well, let's see what ventilators. And it was, we need to build hospitals on every corner. And then it was, everything changes. It is insane. Don't tell me about he's trying to politicize something. Of course he wants to get something done. What if he didn't? Here's something. Let's flip it up. What if Trump says, I have no expectation that we're going to get anything done, and maybe it comes next month, maybe it comes in 5 years, but you know what? There's really no expectation. Well, that's not. It's nuts. It's crazy. And when you're in the middle of an election, we are 8 days away? My God. And I'm going to say this. We're getting close to the start of the election. Now, election night, it's going to be a win for Trump, I believe. But then you'll have the mail-in ballots, which are coming in some states. Like, he's pulled all of his advertising from here because early voting doesn't start for a while. When early voting starts, he's going to bombard Arizona. It's not here yet. But that first night in the election process, which is political, it's going to be huge. The coronavirus is going to be on the ballot. Trump's attitude is going to be on the ballot. Law and order is going to be on the ballot. Biden and his mental capabilities will be on the ballot, as well as his character. Kamala Harris is going to be on the ballot. Mike Pence is just there. He's making up the numbers. I'm not trying to be mean. I like Mike. I think Mike's an okay dude. I'm just saying he's all of those things. It's going to be on the ballot. But so's the economy. What's it like under Trump? Pre-coronavirus. I don't know. It's like, let's just say, because the big fear for the left is, what if because I've never seen a group of people. I'm not talking about the average person on the street. I think, if I asked you this today, in fact, I'll put this out on the Twitter here in a little bit. If we get a vaccine in the next 6 weeks and it works, but Trump gets to be president for 4 more years, would you take that over no vaccine, but you get Biden? I think some people go, oh, I'll take Biden. This is a political thing. It's nuts. And if you think that on that November night that thing's ending, it's not. Be ready and be prepared for a knockdown legal battle of epic proportions. The only way I see this thing not going to a massive battle, because both sides have already set up their this is why I lost. Both sides have already set that up. Both sides have. So the only way I see this not going is if on actual election night, Trump gets beat pretty bad. Because most experts predict he's going to win election night, but lose by Sunday when all of the absentee ballots and the mail-in ballots are cast. Most experts are, and then that's when the legal battle is going to begin. But if he loses handily, or you could tell that he's been really beat by the people that are truly going to the polls, then I think it might be a different story. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Am I wrong? I feel like we've lost. Like, we've never had expectations, and maybe we should. I said when Trump got into this as president, and he was going through a lot of people, I thought, well, is this what it would be like if we wanted a business person in the White House? Is this what it would be like if just like, oh God, these people are all incompetent? It's like, is that it? I mean, I know Trump is a part of the chaos, but because I've worked with bosses who've been like that, where it's a revolving door sometimes of people. But I've also noticed that the people are pretty competent, kind of stick around, and that there's a lot of other people that kind of skated by in life. And then they got somebody else in there that really was more like, you know what? No, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be here. We need somebody better. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. And there's always a sell-by date. Even if this is the sweetest president in history. Like, even if you work for Jimmy Carter, there's a sell-by date. If you work for Obama, there was always a sell-by date because you're only there to get that experience, and then you want to move on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Raycons. Jack was looking for the Raycons last night. Hit him. What? Yeah. So what is it? Best earbuds around. Absolutely incredible. Stick them in your ears after you charge them up. Very stylish and cool. And when you put them in your ears, it's not one of those things where you're trying to get the white stem and the dangling wires and you're trying to make it fit. They snap. It's like they snap in, and it's amazing. You barely feel them. They look cool. The sound quality is amazing. 6 hours of talk time. I played 2 rounds of golf and still had like an hour left of my talk time. Now, I play fast golf, but it was awesome. I never worry about them falling out. I never worry about them breaking. They're incredible. Best earbuds around, and the price, well, a price point that's amazing. Well under $100. I'm going to save you even more money now. Check it out for yourself. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. The best earbuds around, period, case closed. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
AstraZeneca, the drug company, saying it's a routine action for safety reasons after one of their volunteers suffered a potentially unexplained illness. The drug maker still hoping to minimize any potential impact on the trial timeline, while CEOs of 9 major drug companies in the race for a vaccine promised to not rush production, but to rather let science win.
That's right. But it's also a business, and they want to be the first ones out with it. Oh, my God, but it's already failing. No, here's what happened. So all these volunteers go in. They monitor them closely. What they're seeing is we expect there to be certain side effects because of what's going on. So maybe there's going to be headaches, or maybe you might get a small fever, or you maybe have some body aches or something like that, a little nausea. They expect those things. It's the unexpected. Like, we expect these 5 things to happen. May happen. You may get all 5. You may get 1. You may get none. But then, like, explosive diarrhea is not part of that. Oh, my God. Explosive diarrhea. No way. Yeah. So they go to the person that says, I have got all these things going on. How are you feeling? Well, I've had explosive diarrhea. Uh-oh. And then they start going, okay, what have you done different? Like, are you going somewhere else? Oh, no, I take the thing, and and they go through the whole thing. And that person might say, oh, but I did go to Mexico, and I spent a week there, and I only drank their water. Well, that's probably could be something. Probably. Or maybe you've reacted to the medicine, and this is something to look at. So that's all. It's a halt. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I don't for an instant think whether or not they signed a pledge about the vaccine or not, that they're going to be serving up death to people in a syringe. Just don't buy it. Sorry. What I do think is going to happen is there will be some side effects. Some people will probably struggle with it a little bit. For me, I'm going to wait till the second round of it. And the first mover advantage is really important in this, but at the same time, we may get one that is really good. But that may come later. We may get one that's adequate at first that gets us back, and then we might find out later, hey, this other group over here has developed something cheaper that is more cost effective for everybody, but it's also more effective against the virus. That is a possibility. But first mover advantage is highly important. It's going to be safe. I don't for an instant think that they're going to be doing what Russia's doing, where they're telling everybody, come take our vaccine. By the way, we've not scientifically tested this at all. That's what this is for. I'm going to give a hard pass on that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. If you've not seen the Oscars become inclusive, then when you hear what the new inclusion requirements for Best Picture eligibility are, you're going to go, huh? What? Oh, yeah. Plus, we'll talk about schools or the lack of kids going to schools. And wait till you hear a story about a kid who actually went to school. Jiminy Cricket. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
How many of you out there are struggling because you're over the school? What do I do? Remote learning, the never-ending snow day. It's nuts. And I'm telling you, the backlash is real. It's getting very real to the point of insanity. People are starting to push back. People are pushing back hard because it never seems to be enough. It can never be safe enough. There can never be. This is what it is now. We're living in a world now where it is apparently there's just no way we can ever go back to school.
Younger kids are just now, over the past few weeks, starting to get out and about. So we just don't have the same sort of data in terms of how much these younger children may spread the virus. We do know a couple things. We do know that children can become infected with the virus. Becoming infected does not necessarily mean you get sick. It means you have the virus inside your body. They have found the virus inside the nose, the mouths of younger kids, even if they're not sick. And sometimes those viral loads, the amount of virus has been much higher even than in adults.
And can we look at the data? Because everyone wants, let's leave it science. What does science say? Well, the risk is minimal. It's much lower than the flu. So in theory, and this is theory based on data, that maybe we should not have school during flu season. If it's about the kids. Because the kids' mental health, every one of you has got a kid at home or a grandchild. Every one of you know this isn't working. It isn't. My son Jack's 10 years old. You listen to the show, talk about Jack a lot. He's out here with me. School started. He's got a text. He's having little issues with technology. It's frustrating, but he's at a very good school. He's at a STEM school. They have built out a true program for online learning, and the teachers actually know how to Zoom and do stuff. They're not technologically struggling. But he has been. No sports, no activities, no seeing his friends, no doing the things that he wants to do, the panic porn that has been 24/7 news, and everybody's going to die if they get this. It has affected them in a different way because they're not getting sick like adults. They're not dying from this. Some have, yes, and a majority, and by majority, like 95 to 99% of the people that have died from this that are young, if not all of them, had true underlying conditions. The flu will be more deadly. But the mental aspect of it, it's bad. It is. It is bad. And I've seen it with Jack. The anger, he's quick to anger. He's frustrated. He's not getting his wiggles out. He's not getting his sports. He's not having, it's all been thrown sideways. And there's only, it's a true, he said to me the other day, I said, do you want to go home with your mom? He goes, no. And I said, well, okay. I said, he goes, I miss my friends. I can't see my friends, Dad. I've seen my friends for 2 hours in person in like 6 months. That's a tough thing. Here, he's got friends. And I'm not one of those people. I'm like, you go ride your bikes, you go have fun, you do whatever. This is life. We're going to let you live life. It's a struggle. And it's real. And it's starting to affect kids. And guess what? Parents are getting pissed.
Some parents and students have been fighting to stay out of classrooms this fall during the pandemic. Some parents and students have been fighting to get back in.
Kids need to be in school every day. Virtual learning is not learning.
That's Nora Kaplan Stowe, whose son Maverick Stowe showed up at his Mastic Beach High School in New York's Long Island, even though classes were supposed to be remote for him.
Principal said that I needed to leave, and I said, well, no, I think I need to go to class. This is during class time, and he's teaching.
Maverick was sent away with a week-long suspension.
Wait, what? Yeah. He showed up at school, even though there was school going on, but for whatever reason, he was supposed to be doing it remotely, and he went to class, and this is not supposed to be here, and so they suspended him. This is the insanity we live in. Are you blanking kidding me? You send a kid home? Like, what do you think's going to happen to him? Just curious. What do you think he's going to do to you? He's an adult-ish sounding kid. I mean, he wants to be in school, so I don't think he's like, hey, Mom, I got it. I know I'm a super spreader. I'm a chimney. Probably going to wear his mask, do his thing. He wants to learn. They sent him home. You have teachers fighting, and we don't want to go. I didn't sign up for this. Here's my question to you teachers. What are you going to do? Just, I spoke to a teacher here in the Valley. And I said, so he's like, I can't do this. It's putting my life at risk. I said, okay, it's totally understandable. Beauty of being a teacher, like anything else, is you have a choice. Nobody woke up and said, man, quick, go get your guns. This guy across the street has to be a teacher. So you made the choice, the conscious choice to be a teacher. So you have a choice not to go to school. You have a choice to go get another job, and you can do that. Fantastic. I don't look at you as a protected part of society. You do a great service. Some of you are really good. Some of you are average. Some of you are getting a paycheck. That's life. That's the same way in pretty much a lot of businesses and a lot of functions in society. So what are you going to do if you're not going to teach? Are you going to go, oh, well, I'll go work at a grocery store. Oh, you will? So wait, what? Are you going to do it remotely? Frustrating. I get it. But parents are frustrated now, too.
In Wheaton, Illinois, outside Chicago, Zachary McClure was part of a protest to get Warrenville South High School back open again. For him, it was all about football.
The college coaches are going to go where the talent is and where the film is. They're not going to take a risk on someone that they don't have enough film on, and it'll be too late probably during the spring.
Each school making its own rules and students making their pandemic-affected voices heard.
Yeah. When Pac-10 and Big Ten or Pac-12 and Big Ten aren't playing football because of what? NFL? They're getting ready to kick off. Other colleges are playing. Well, look at all the kids that have tested positive, and the University of Illinois is just shut down and quarantined the entire. Look, if anybody's going to get sick, and it's the right people to get sick, it's 23-year-olds who think they're invincible and in great shape. Like, if you were to wish something like, okay, somebody's got to sacrifice and get this. It's like, how about the dude with the six-pack over there? He looks like he's pretty healthy. We're living in an insane world. We can mask up and get on with our lives. It shouldn't be. We have inflicted a ton of damage on ourselves, and we then turned it into even more politics. Then we've even turned the mask into more politics. Those of you out there are going, yeah, right on, Chad. Wear your damn mask. Well, it takes away my freedom. Shut up. You're going into somebody's business, and they want you to wear a mask. You wear a mask. I'll say it. We say it at least once or twice a week. Costco, Target. If they're, let's say tomorrow they find a cure for this, but then Costco and Target says, you know what? To come in our store, top hat and tails, or you can't buy 75 gallons of mayonnaise. Well, if you want 75 gallons of mayonnaise, you go there. I went to Harrods. You guys don't know what Harrods is? Producer Phil, you probably know what Harrods is. Shishi apartment store in London.
Yeah.
First time I went to Harrods in the 80s and in the early 90s. I know what it's like now, but they have a dress code. They have a dress code to go into a department store. Yeah. I golf. Place I play. There's a dress code. What's this? You have to wear a collared shirt. So, treat it like that. If they come into your house and they tell you got to wear a mask, then you tell them to kick rocks. It's just insane. And people are going crazy, and people are pissed, and people have a right to be. They do. Because they're over it now. They've seen their states overreach. They've seen their governors on both sides of the aisle overreact or underreact. And all they want is get out of our way so we can get back to living our lives and let us make calculated decisions based on the risk that we're willing to take, because we know the people that we need to protect are the vulnerable, the elderly, the people who have underlying health conditions. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, you know, I've got a twisted ankle, or I'm talking about real underlying health conditions. Those are the people we protect. And the rest of us need to get on with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I said before we were rudely interrupted a little while ago, I'm going to tell you about the Oscars. I'm going to give you just a glimpse before we go to it, and then we're going to get deeper. It's a smidge, glimpse, a glimpse for the 94th and 95th Oscar ceremonies, 2022, 2023. There'll be inclusion standards for Best Picture. Beginning in 2024, the 96 Oscars, a film submitting Best Picture will need to meet the inclusion thresholds by meeting 2 of the 4 standards. What are they, Chad? We're going to talk about them in a second. But first, Purple. I sleep deliciously well. Thank you, Purple. The other night, so I have my little Fitbit thingy, and it gives me like my sleep score and stuff like that. So before Purple, I'd be happy with like a 50. I could get 6 or 7 hours of being in the bed, but I would toss and turn and wasn't. Now I can get 5 hours of sleep because I get up so early and I go to bed so late and I do so many things, and it'll still tell me my sleep. Yesterday, it was like 81. And I was excited because I'd been off for a week and I was coming back, and usually I get really excited and it's tough for me to sleep. The fact that I got that was awesome. Plus my naps. And it's all because of Purple. It's the little things you do in life. And you're going to spend enough time in an area. Shouldn't you treat yourself to something that makes your life better? And that's what Purple Mattress does. 28 open air channels, naturally temperature neutral gel. What's that mean? You never sleep too hot. You never sleep too cold. It adapts for everybody. So with this grid, it adapts to your body. Soft where you want it, firm where you need it, never going to sink or lose shape. And count on it night after night after night, and nap after nap after nap. 100-night risk-free, free shipping and returns. Try it. Experience the next evolution of sleep. Go to purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson saves you $150 right there off any Purple mattress order, $1,500 or more. Purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson for that $150 off. Purple.com/Benson. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
And the Oscar goes to this great LGBT African-American hard of hearing ensemble cast of identity politics in the world that we live in, because art no longer exists. Welcome to the world of inclusivity forced upon the art world if you're going to play in their sandbox. What are you talking about, Chad? So, the Oscars. We know they were so white for such a long time. Because they were. I will remind everybody, the movies I watch are usually awful. And by that I mean, like Fear Farm opens this weekend. I think it's this weekend. What is that? It's one of those low budget, like Blumhouse kind of horror movies that I will be first in line to see, that cost nothing to make, that will never win an Oscar, that may launch somebody's career, and it's all about 90 minutes of fun and scares, because it's Halloween time and I love it. My house is already starting to look like the Addams Family. I love it. So that's what I don't watch any of these, movies like, oh, did you see that movie? No, nobody else did either, but it's going to win an Oscar. Ah! So here it is. Check this out. This is great. You guys will love this. So, for the 94th and 95th Oscar ceremonies, the schedule for 22-23, films will submit a confidential Academy Inclusion Standard form to be considered for Best Picture. But beginning in 2024, for the 96 Oscars, films submitting for the Best Picture will need to meet inclusion thresholds by meeting 2 of the 4 standards. What are they? Let's count them down. Number 1, A1 is what they call standard on-screen representation, themes, and narratives. At least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors in an underrepresented racial group or ethnic group. So they have to be from one of those. So Asian, Hispanic, Latinx, Black, African American, Indigenous, Native American, Alaskan Native, Middle Eastern, North African, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islanders, or other underrepresented race or ethnicity. So that's one of the 4. So you just have to meet 2 of these. This would be the best film. So if you're an indie filmmaker and it's you and your brother and it's your true story life and you guys are going to film it and you're going to edit and do it all together and there's not going to be anything else but maybe this really hard acted out, like just amazing, thing, and you would not be allowed unless you meet these. So even if it was about your life, maybe you guys will twist some of it. A2, general ensemble cast. At least 30% of all actors in secondary and minor roles are from at least 2 of the following underrepresented groups. Women, racial or ethnic group. That's all it says, racial or ethnic group. LGBT, people with cognitive or physical disabilities who are deaf or hard of hearing. It gets better. So they're telling you has to be in the cast, even if it's like, so this you have to get this, even if it's based on a true story, and you're going to have to change the true story to fit if you want to win. At least 30% of all actors in secondary and minor roles are from at least 2 of the following unrepresented groups. So we've gone through that. So the racial and ethnic group, I don't even know what that means. But the main storyline and subject matter. So the main storylines, theme, or narratives of the film is centered on an underrepresented group. Okay. So women, racial or ethnic group, LGBT, cognitive abilities. So you get, let's start again. Top, lead or significant others. Intersectionality has to be from representative groups. LGBT, main subject line has to be that. And the creative leadership departments, heads, meaning all the people are inside of this. The cast have to be that, but on the other side of the camera, that also has to be via, special effects supervisor, writer, set sound, hairstylist, director, designer, all have to be of certain ethnic groups or represent a certain community, or you cannot get. It's essentially Hollywood's telling themselves, do this. This is what art's going to be about now. It's going to be about inclusion. Period. Enjoy that. I'll still watch my cheap horror movies and laugh and have a good time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. It's on the old YouTube. Have a blessed, wonderful day. It is Wednesday, so we got you over the hump in this short week because we do that for you, kids. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.